here and let some of you join us.
I love your background too.
Thank you.
I need to get on that.
we're just hanging out here in the barn today, you see.
It's really cool. It's very cool.
Hey, if you're watching with us today, be sure to tell us where you're watching from. There's Lisa and Emily. They're joining us today.
From Florida, where it's nice and hot.
Yeah. Ben is with us from Pennsylvania.
I should give a view of my animal who is snoring in the background. There's Evie. Legit snoring.
Life is rough, isn't it? All right, that's a pretty good amount we got with us now. Well, very good. Hi, everybody. I'm Corey and Mel.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
We're here joined with Jess from Weatherbeeta, and we're excited to talk with you today about fly sheets and some of the different styles that we have. Don't forget to put any questions you might have for Jess in the comments at the end of this live segment. We are going to be giving away one of these Sweet Itch combo sheets from Weatherbeeta, and we've just started carrying these, brand new to us, and Jess will also be talking about those. So with that, Jess, we will turn it over to you.
All right. Well, just to give you a little bit of background on me. So my name's Jess Manson. I've worked for Weatherbeeta, that's actually located in New Jersey. So I'm in New Jersey for 13 years this year. So I've been working with Weatherbeeta for quite some time now. And of course, we specialize in turnouts. So the Weatherbeeta turnouts and fly sheets are the biggest part of our business, actually. So what I'm going to talk about today is we're going to focus on this new Sweet Itch combo that Melissa so nicely held up for you. So this is actually not only brand new to Valley Vet, but it's brand new to us. So this is the first year that we're producing it and carrying it. I'll also be talking about the cool coats. So we're just going to be talking about fly protection in general. And usually when you think about, you know, it's spring, flies are starting to come out. Yes, you want to protect your horse against flies, but you also want to protect your horse from UV rays. So UV protection is what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. And then when it comes to flies, so this Sweet Itch combo, in fact, before we carried it, I had no idea what Sweet Itch was because it just didn't affect any of the horses that I had. I was telling the ladies before. So I've learned a lot about Sweet Itch and what that is, and technically what you'd be looking for when looking at horses being affected by Sweet Itch. So I guess first and foremost, I will start with the Cool Coat. So this is a tried and true product that we've been carrying for years. I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, but the Cool Coat airflow combo is actually made from sort of a poly cotton material. And then on the lower half of the sheet, it has a mesh actually. So what's great about this is, like I said before, the UV protection rating on this one is 90% plus. So if you have horses that are affected by melanoma, and yeah, I see Lisa from Florida is saying definitely a necessary item in Florida. But yeah, if you have horses that are affected by bleaching, melanoma, you know, grays, any horses that have some sort of pink skin. In fact, my first horse, his name was Seven. He would get sunburn on his nose every year. And also he was a gray, he was a flea bitten gray, wound up getting melanoma on his tail. I wish I had known about the Cool Coat when I had him, because it would have definitely protected him. And you know, maybe he would have lived longer, who knows. But this particular sheet also has an upgrade this year. So for the cool coat in the Airstream detach neck, previously we had a closure in the front that was a little difficult to adjust. So it was one strap, it was a PVC coated material, and it was really tough. It was really, really tough to adjust. So we've gone back to what we used to utilize, which is a double buckle front closure. So much more adjustable and a much better fit for your horse. So I don't know if there's any particular questions on the Cool Coat Airstream before I move on to the next product that I'm going to talk about. But if anybody has anything, just let me know.
Oh, goodness. One question was, how easy are they to clean and wash?
Actually, quite easy to clean and wash, but with any blankets, I would say. So the Cool Coat is not waterproof, but it is breathable. So I would probably utilize a front loading machine if I was going to wash my Cool Coat, and I would hang it up to dry. I wouldn't put it in the dryer.
Okay. We had a question from Emily. She asks, can they travel with them on, or how long should they keep them on?
It depends on the type of horse that you have. If you have a horse that's really rough on any kind of sheets that they wear. So if you have a horse that's normally in like a 1200D blanket or sheet and he wrecks that, it's likely that your horse is going to be a little bit more rough on the Cool Coat, and you probably want to watch him a little bit more closely. It also depends on who they're turned out with. So if you have a rowdy bunch of horses that are out there, they're more playful, ripping at each other's sheets, you'll also want to watch. But if you have a horse that just kind of sits out in the field and is very chill, which actually my horses were, you leave it on all day, no big deal. So I guess it's the same as if you were, turning out in any kind of turnout sheet. Depends on the kind of horse you have.
Sherry was also asking, how do horses deal with it in extreme heat? So I think just wearing fly sheets in general, or maybe what's great about the Cool Coat?
So the Cool Coat is white. So as you guys know, I mean, simply white reflects light. So if you have a darker colored horse, normally the sun would be more absorbent, I guess you could say, into a darker color. So the white would reflect that, keeping your horse a little bit cooler. However, I'm not going to say that your horse isn't going to sweat underneath the fabric, because I mean, you wear shirts. If you go outside, it's hot. You're going to sweat, and your horse is going to sweat too. So I guess the expectation, if you put a Cool Coat on, that your horse is never going to sweat is a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Unrealistic. So if you're in super hot weather, your horse is probably going to sweat underneath of it, but may still be a little bit more comfortable because it is breathable. And again, it is reflecting the light off of them. So
is there any warranty on these fly sheets?
So we always warranty on any of the turnouts that we have. We warranty the hardware on it. So if the hardware goes and it seems like it's a manufacturer's defect, we will definitely cover that, or anything that seems like a manufacturer's defect. If it's a problem and you have a rowdy horse and you've turned your horse out and a rip occurs, that usually isn't covered, but still I would ask your retailer and see what their return policy is. And normally what will happen is your retailer will contact us and our customer service team, and we'll let you know what's covered.
Okay. Emily asked if it's okay to use a fly mask while they're wearing the sheets.
Yes. I would encourage utilizing fly masks, in fact. And a lot of the fly masking, I guess I could go into it. So Weatherbeeta actually does carry the matching fly mask for the Cool Coat. And they also carry some of the Weatherbeeta stretch bug eye savers. So they carry a bunch of different products that would be successful on multiple different horses. The stretch bug eye saver is great because it stays kind of close to the skin. It's very fitted, and it has, I know I'm, making it with my hands, but it has literally like bug eyes over the eyes. So if you have a horse that might be sensitive to that, or if you have a horse maybe recovering from a surgery where you need to put something over their eyes because they're wearing some sort of gauze or whatever, it would be appropriate to have that. And also the Cool Coat fly mask is similar to that. So it also has the bug eyes over it, and is made from the Cool Coat material. So it's that poly cotton material in white. Yeah.
Here, Tina is asking if they hold up well in high winds. She must be in a windy place.
You know what? That's a really good question, and I've never gotten that before. So, I actually can't answer it because I don't. Oh, gosh, where do you live? I know.
Well, they do. They have the belly straps, and then also those under the legs too. So those should be right. Isn't that right, Jess?
Yes, they do. So they have the one belly strap, and then they have the chest buckles and the leg straps. So you've got a lot of strapping holding it on. Yeah.
So really similar to like your winter sheets and turnouts. I think you probably shouldn't have any problem with it.
Right.
Another one was trying to find where it came from. Oh, Donna asked if the mesh is fine enough to keep gnats and mosquitoes from getting through.
Wow, Donna, that's a really good segue into the Swedish combo. So the Swedish combo is developed specifically to keep out some of those smaller biting insects, hence why it's called Swedish. So the Swedish is actually made from a 600 denier material. And I will go through the difference actually between the airflow detachable neck. So any of our sheets or turnouts that are called detach necks, it's because the neck actually detaches. So you can utilize it either as a standard neck sheet, or you can utilize it as a detachable neck option with the hood on it. When I say combo, it means that it's completely attached. So there will be no detaching it. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more versatile, maybe the Cool Coat is for you. But if you're looking for complete coverage from all small and large biting insects, I would say the Swedish combo is more for you, because what this one does is it's attached, it comes up, it comes all the way up over the ears. And then, like I said, it's made out of a 600 denier material. And usually when I talk about a 600 denier material, it's normally like a ripstop fabric. This is a ripstop fabric. In our turnouts, they're waterproof and breathable. This is not going to be waterproof. So this particular one is just going to be breathable. It's not made to be waterproof. It's not intended for the same purpose as, a waterproof and breathable turnout. The purpose is so that it's highly breathable and protects your horse against any of those tiny insects that you're saying.
Pretty good.
Oh, Nebraska. Tina's, I guess, from Nebraska, where it gets pretty windy in Nebraska.
Yes. We can relate.
Yes.
We can relate.
And I think somebody else had asked about UV protection in the fly mask. And yes, there is UV protection in the fly masks as well, to protect both the eyes and the rest of the face where it's covering. So that UV protection is dependent on which fly mask that you choose. Anytime you have like a really fine white mesh, it's not likely to be a high UV protection rating. Anytime you get some of those heavier meshes, or like with this Swedish combo or the Cool Coat, you're going to have heavier UV protection. So 90 plus.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Swedish, and why don't you just kind of take us through what you know and what you've learned about Swedish?
Yeah, so bear with me because I have a lot of notes. I have a lot of notes that I took because I did a heck of a lot of research figuring out what Swedish is, because I was looking at her copy, right? And it says that it protects against any of these small biting insects, and it also protects against parasites. So honestly, when I hear parasites, I always think of internal parasites, not external parasites. So then, of course, I'm going through and Googling what external parasites could affect horses. Well, what external parasites would be considered? would be this list of biting parasites that I've come up with. So it would be bots, it would be the mosquitoes, lice, which I haven't heard affect a lot of horses, but I'm sure does in certain areas. Any kind of biting flies is on that list of external parasites. Mange, which is actually a skin condition caused by a parasitic mite. And then ticks. For some reason, it didn't come to my head that that would be listed as an external parasite, but ticks are also an external parasite. So what that sweet itch is supposed to protect against is just those things. So anything small, and what some people call as any of those insects that I just mentioned, no-see-ums, because they're difficult to see. So that would be the full list that you would be looking out for as things that would, damage and irritate your animal. So you want to get this sheet on before these things occur. And these types of insects usually come out mostly by areas that have, some standing water and just water in general, because that's the breeding ground specifically for, mosquitoes and stuff like that. But ticks, I can tell you what, in my area, they're terrible. I actually have a service that comes out to spray my property to prevent some of the ticks, because I've seen them actually line up on doors. So you would go in and out of the house, and you'd have, the screens up, and they would line the screens of the door. It was insane. So ticks get really bad here on the East Coast, especially in New Jersey, because I'm here. But anyway, you definitely want to protect against that. Not only that, I mean, they carry diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Definitely.
Any other questions?
Nikki wanted to know if the ears come out, will it stay up on the neck if it comes off the ears, or will it just slide down the neck?
You'll likely want to keep the ears on. If you look at some of our other sheets that are detachable necks, they do come with a loop on the top so that you can attach it to your breakaway halter. I always recommend utilizing a halter that's breakaway for safety reasons. And I see Emily has the question, will it keep the sun from bleaching? Yes, so the UV protection, specifically on the two sheets that I'm talking about, so the Cool Coat Airstream Detach Neck, and then the Sweet Itch combo, that will have the UV protection that will definitely help you to prevent sun bleaching. So 90% plus UV protection.
Sherry asked if you would consider the Sweet Itch sheet to be less breathable than the Cool Coat.
Probably, because the Sweet Itch, technically it's made out of a polyester material that's supposed to be really breathable, but I felt the material before. It's a bit heavier. Anytime you have like a poly cotton material, and anything with cotton in it usually is a bit more breathable than just a regular polyester. Although, a lot of clothing now, athletic clothing or athleisure clothing, is made from polyester materials, because they do have a lot of wicking features to them. That's the thing. You always want something that's going to be breathable, so that it allows, when your horse does sweat, because they will, if it's very hot, they will sweat, and you want to make sure that that sweat gets wicked away from their bodies, keeping them cool.
Carla had asked, does it cover between the navel and the hind legs? It seems to be an area that the midges like to attack. I need my readers today. I can't read that small kid.
Yeah, so on the Sweet Itch combo, I believe it has the low crust or singles on it. So it's meant to kind of protect and cover that area, but I hear you on that one. So it's really tough, because I actually had a mare that would get some bites along her sensitive areas under, and it's tough to cover those areas. So unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily cover all of the area. We try to cover the majority of the belly, but by the back legs, no, it doesn't necessarily cover that, unfortunately.
And then we've got the Swedish here, and it looks like it has a belly band, but does the Cool Coat also have a belly band?
No, Cool
Okay.
Coat only has a single surcingle that goes across the belly.
Okay.
Yep. And I think Tammy asked, are there Swedish fly boots? No, we don't carry the Swedish fly boots. We do have fly boots. So we have the Airflow mesh fly boots that you can look for. Saxon is also one of our brands. So we also carry Saxon fly boots that have a little bit of a finer mesh to them. Both are carried in white, and then there also is a silver gray blue version in the Airflow if you're looking for that.
Okay.
Yep.
What else on the Swedish, Jess? We kind of talked about Swedish itself, but you want to talk to us a little bit about kind of the thoughts behind creating this fly sheet?
Yeah, I mean, it actually, we have offices in 3 countries, which I was telling you ladies about prior to the phone call, actually. So we have offices in Australia and the UK, and this sheet actually was developed over there. The UK actually seems to have a really tough time with sweet itch. So that's kind of where I first learned about it when they were developing this sheet and telling me a bit about sweet itch. And then, of course, I did a bunch of research on my own. But that's kind of where it developed from. And then, of course, we have a very diverse climate, and our country is all different, all different types of environments. And of course, we have issues with midges, as one of the viewers had said, mosquitoes, ticks, all of those other things. So there was just a need for additional protection, and specifically, it seems like horse owners are definitely much more educated than they used to be, especially when I first started out in this, including myself, in fact, because there's just so much more information out there. And the products that have been developed over the past 20 plus years have become so much more advanced. So I think the types of materials that are coming out now that are, breathable, durable, and do protect against UV, because that's another thing that, honestly, when I first became a horse owner, I'm 37 now, so I first became a horse owner when I was, a kid, didn't think anything about UV protection for my horses. And now that's a big deal for a lot of horse owners, especially horse owners that have animals that are susceptible to, like I said before, melanoma or skin conditions, burning. And then, of course, horse owners that, just as I think one of the viewers said, have a black horse, have a bay, they don't want bleaching to occur. So I think all of those things are definitely something to consider when you're thinking about protection for your animal.
Amanda asked, which Weatherbeeta fly sheet would you recommend in a very humid area when maybe Swedish is not necessarily a concern?
So I would actually do the Rip Shield detach neck. So it's the Weatherbeeta ComFiTec Rip Shield detach neck. It's a super fine mesh. It doesn't necessarily have high UV coverage. I want to say it's 20% plus, but it does protect against smaller biting insects, larger biting insects, because of the size of the mesh on it. It's finer. And it's because it is a finer mesh and in white colors, it's a little bit lighter and less less sweat inducing, if you will.
Okay. This is from Michaela. Can you put something like Equispot fly drops on the horse under the blanket?
I've never used that product. I know a lot of people combine using a fly sheet as well as fly spray. I'm going to guess that it would probably have a similar effect. If I had a horse, which I currently don't, but I've had horses in the past, I would combine both using a fly sheet and a fly spray, especially a fly spray on areas that were not covered by the fly sheet. So I can't imagine why that wouldn't work.
I'd say the only thing I'd add on those fly drops is probably just making sure that once you apply it, that they have a chance to dry so it doesn't all end up on the fly sheet, and then probably just resume using your fly sheet as you normally would.
Yeah. Yeah. Highest UV protection, I would actually say the Cool Coat fly mask. I think Ashley had mentioned what fly mask if looking for the highest UV protection, and I would say the Cool Coat fly mask would be your highest UV protection. We also have the Weatherbeeta ComFiTec fine mesh masks and durable mesh masks, and they both have 70+% UV protection on them and come in multiple different styles. So those masks will come with ears, without ears, with a nose, without the nose, with nose and ears. There's just so many different combinations that you can purchase with that particular mask to cover whatever needs that you have for your horse.
Okay. We had some questions about the buckles again. We had a viewer join late, and she wanted to know if you would go over those again real quick.
The buckles, yeah, sure. So on the Cool Coat Airflow detach neck that I was talking about earlier, the buckles on that have changed. So previously, so if you had one last year and you'd purchased it, you would have gotten something with a PVC coated buckle that would have been difficult to adjust. So we do listen to our consumers. We actually had quite a few complaints, and I make sure that I listen to our retailers, and I also take a look at reviews online. And anytime one of us, so the sales reps that work at Weatherbeeta, see those things, we of course pass it on to product. To ensure that the people that are purchasing the products that we sell are happy and getting what they want. So when we found that consumers like yourselves were not happy with the front closure that we had, we chose to pass that information along and actually made a really great change. So now it's a double buckle front closure. So it's much more adjustable and stays closed much more effectively.
Well, that's kind of a good segue into, I think, Caitlin's question was, how well do they stay on if you've got a horse that rolls? And she said, hold on a second. Yeah, how do you keep them? I was like, she's got two questions. How do you keep them from staying in place whenever they're rolling? She's looking for something safe so she's not losing her mind over flies. And then, if you have any tips for keeping fly masks on a horse that isn't crazy fond of them.
Yeah. So actually, we sell tons and tons of that, the ComFiTec bug eye saver that I was mentioning before. And I think it's a little bit more comfortable on horses that don't like all of the bulk because it's made out of like a lycra material. So I channel your sleazies and stuff like that. It's made of a really soft, stretchy material that stretches over their faces and then has the bug eyes. And I think a lot of horses get irritated by some masks, especially if they don't fit properly, if the mesh is too close to their eyes, because it's gonna rub their lashes and it's gonna be really uncomfortable for them to just move and utilize their eyes. So the bug eye savers have enough fabric there where it kind of tents out around the eye, so it's not touching any of the lashes or anything like that around her eye. So that might help your horse. And then when it comes to actually staying on, it's tough because if your horse is going to be tough on sheets and fly sheets in general, usually what I find that helps is we do offer the leg straps. So leg straps help. You want to make sure that it fits. If you buy something that's too big or too small, it's going to shift. So you want to make sure that you measure properly. And how you would measure for that is you would measure from the center of the chest to the point of the rump, basically. So the back of the rump. So you want to make sure that you have a good fitting sheet to ensure that it doesn't kind of slide around on you.
Sue asked if the buckles will break away if they get caught or hung up on something.
Your sheet will rip, yes. So we try to make it as durable as possible, but yes, it's intended to rip.
the low one.
Does I see Mrs. Day Wims says,
Yes.
does the stretchy material rub their hair off? Not that I'm aware of. So I haven't had any complaints. Like I said, I mean, I do pay attention to what consumers are saying, and I have not heard any issues with the Lycra rubbing because it actually fits pretty tightly to them. So there shouldn't be any areas where they should get rubbed.
And that's a good point, I think, on both the masks and the sheets to make sure you've got one that's really fitted so you don't get the extra movement.
And what's great is in the shoulders, we line that with like an Oxford, polyester Oxford lining. So it's in the shoulder area and up around the neck so that A, it doesn't stretch, and then B, it doesn't rub your horse. Ooh, I see Mrs. Day Wims made a comment that you have a horse that blisters on his face. Yikes. That seems painful. I would definitely try that, the bug eye saver. If anybody has any feedback, like I said, I mean, it's super important for us to get feedback. And if you're familiar with some of these products, you've used them, or there's other products that you've used that you think are great that you think Weatherbeeta should carry, I would love the feedback because I definitely take that into account and, of course, pass that on to our product development department. So if there's anything that you think would be a great idea that we should have, I'd love to hear it.
And Ashley, I think we hopefully answered your question that you also had on the rubbing as well. So if there's anything else there, just let us know.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the weight of these blankets that you've been talking about?
Yeah, so there's no polyfill. So if you're buying a blanket, of course, you're in a wintry area or an area that has hard winters, you would look for polyfill. And when you're talking about the weight of the fabric, that's the denier. So when I'm talking about this bug eye saver, or I'm sorry, not the bug eye saver, the sweet itch combo, it's a 600 denier fabric. So you're going to have a little weight to the fabric, and it's going to be a ripstop type fabric. And if you're looking at the fabrics that are ripstop, they usually have either a box pattern to them. And what that does is when it rips, it stops it because of the box pattern. We also make other sheets that are a 1200D in a triple weave fabric that's going to be even stronger than that. So when you're talking about the denier of the fabric, it's the strength of the actual fabric in the easiest, simplest terms possible. So like I said, so the the sheet that they're holding up now,
Trying to hold up.
which is that sweet itch combo, is a 600 denier fabric. So that's going to be a little bit stronger than the Cool Coat Airstream that I was talking about previously. That is a polycotton type material, which does have a box pattern in it to essentially stop rips should your horse develop one. But it's going to be a little bit less durable than the sheet that they're currently holding up now.
Yeah, this is the sweet itch, and it's a little more sheet-like than what you would imagine with like I don't know, it's kind of hard to show with it being white.
And because these are made to be breathable and cooler, because of course your horse is wearing these in the spring and summer months when they're getting, barraged by biting insects, they're not going to have any polyfill. So I'd mentioned before, if you're buying a turnout blanket or sheet, you're looking for the denier, which is the weight of the fabric and usually indicates how strong it will be. So 1680 is usually the highest it goes for denier if you're looking for a super strong material, if your horse is real tough on blankets. And then it'll go to 1200. I think some companies make 1000 denier. We make one that's 900 denier. 1200 is very common. And like I said, when we're talking about the weave of the 1200 either would be that traditional box weave, which is very durable, does ripstop, or the diamond weave. that I was mentioning before. I see you're holding up the wither relief portion of that. So if you look at the pads that the ladies are holding up there, that is the wither relief in the sheet. And I should have talked a little bit more about this. So those are memory foam wither relief. And what that does is it's up around the withers, it lifts it up. Not only does that actually help prevent rubbing on it, but it also helps keep the sheet in place for you.
The other thing that was really nice was kind of just the lycra that's up around their ears. So maybe you're not going to get that rubbing or tugging, and probably is a little more forgiving to keep it in place when they're turned out.
Well, that's the other thing. So I know a lot of comments have been made on the Cool Coat, for instance, that the hood is very large. So the hood is made to be a little bit larger to increase the amount of coverage that you have there, but also you've got to realize that your horse is reaching down often to eat. So with the little bit of extra coverage, it continues to cover your horse as they, have their head down to eat.
Very good. And Kelly, yes, no problem joining late. You will be able to watch this video live. So within moments after we finish, it will post to our page and to the event. So you'll be able to find it in both places. And we did talk, Emily, a little bit about sunburn, and Jess kind of covered the different UV protection levels within the fly mask and the fly sheet that would definitely be worth revisiting.
Yeah, the two that I've been talking about, so the Cool Coat Airstream Detach Neck, and then also the Swedish combo would be 90% plus UV protection. So some of the highest UV protection that we have in summer weight turnouts and fly. Oh, is there anything else? Any fly masks with ears for mules? Unfortunately, we have not developed anything for the size of the mule ears. I'm guessing you have a mule with very, very sensitive ears. I know some of those smaller biting insects do kind of go for those sensitive areas, so you want to ensure that they're covered. But sadly, I don't think we have anything that will fit a mule.
Sherry had a comment for you, Jess, on the ripstop neck piece. She said she loves her ripstop sheets, but didn't know if you're going to be redesigning any of the neck pieces for those.
So no, we do grade them for the size of the sheet or blanket usually. I'm guessing you're talking about like turnouts for winter and maybe lightweight turnouts too. But we do sell replacements that are graded as well. So they'll come in like a small, medium, large kind of situation. I don't know if that helps. And I know it's tough to fit all the horses because some of them really do. Either they have super short necks, long bodies, they're all different, just like humans.
Kelly was asking about how well they keep off deer and horse flies.
Talking the big 1-inch horseflies in the forest. Yeah, I hear you. We get them here in New Jersey too. And they have legit bit through my jeans, like blood through my jeans. So to be honest, it's going to be better than nothing. But if they can bite through my jeans, they will likely be able to get through some of the fabrics that we have here. The Swedish is probably your best bet. Because like I said, when we're talking about denier, that 600 denier heavier fabric is going to probably protect a little bit better. But again, if jeans are not protecting me.
Well, I think we've had a lot of great questions, and just really good information. I think we've gotten to everyone. So if you have any last minute questions, let us know. But should we pick a winner?
Yeah, let's pick a winner. All right. Thank you all for joining us today. We have one winner today, and that is going to be Sherry Kennedy.
Woo!
Woo!
Congratulations, Sherry. You will be taking home one of the Swedish combo sheets of your choice. So message us after the live video with what size you like, and we'll get that all squared away for you.
Yeah, no, this was great, you guys. So this is my first time ever doing this. And everybody's been so kind and have really wonderful questions. So I really appreciate it. Can't wait to do another one, guys.
Yay! Thank you
Yay.
so much for joining us.
And if you didn't win today, we've got other ways that you could still win a Swedish combo sheet. So
in fact, we are going to be drawing the winner for our Swinging for the Fences sweepstakes tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to see if you are a lucky winner. And we have another sweepstakes coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Jess, thank you so much again.
Thank
this is
you.
wonderful information, and thank you all for your great questions and for watching. And so
Yes, thank you.
until next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.